Hi, everybody. I hope you're all doing well and you're happy and sassy and creative this morning. Um, what I'd like to talk to you about today is a masterboard book where you keep all your masterboards together and in one place, and then it's just a fun thing to look at. And I want to thank Tina from the Shabby Dabby Doodah and Pam from the Paper Outpost, both of whom I get a lot of inspiration from. Tina, especially this time, gave me the idea of the Masterboard book. And first of all, I think what we might do is talk about what is a masterboard to start with. It's a collage. Basically, it's a collage. And its use in this case is generally to make prints from your masterboard. And these are all collages. Each little piece of paper has been glued on. Oh, some handmade paper got stuck in there. And here's another one. This one was inspired by Tina. And here's another one. And so on and so forth. Fun, fun, fun to do. And Pam from the Paper Outpost says to create with reckless abandon. So you just kind of put it on there. Don't think about it. What I like to do, though, ahead of time is maybe gather up a group of papers that are happy together. Just sort of a pile, or dig through your stash. Definitely dig through your stash and get things kind of ready. And I like to include graphic kind of prints, like old book pages. This is from an old book, an old music sheet. That just kind of ties it together. And sometimes I'll even glue the whole, like a whole music sheet down first and then put things on top of it. So there's no rules. It's just about having fun and creating something that you just like to look at, and then might print from and use for tags and pockets and things like that that are uniquely your own. Or then you could, of course, use your masterboard. Definitely, and that would be a lovely paper to use for tags, because you could actually see the texture of the individual papers. So that is basically what a masterboard is. Now, oh, and here's a basic one that I have created. You can just print this and put it on the back of what you're printing out. So that's a handy thing too. Here's another little, what we used to call Franken pages. They're so similar. Franken pages are generally, you go ahead and use them, but you can also print them off. This is one that has been sewn, the little squares, kind of like a little quilt. All right, let's go then to the idea of this book. The book itself was made from an advertisement brochure. Here's a similar one from Walmart, and you can see it's stapled together. And there's more pages in this one than in mine, but they just come in the mail, and there you go. You just start gluing on them. And then they're all contained in a nice little pamphlet. So here's the one I just finished. And you go page by page. This is the one I started with, and I was experimenting with Mod Podge as an over finish and an under glue. So I used it for both gluing on and then the finish on top. And that's one way, that's one method. And as you can see, I stamped on it. These are just, no, that's not a stamp, that's the paper right here. But did some stamping, and that's fun. Now, here's the back of this page. In case I want to use that as a tag, it will have a finished back on. Let's say I cut this right here, and there you could have your tag, and then this right here would be on the back of it. Ready to go, easy peasy. This one I didn't like, so I kept messing with it. There's layers and layers on this one. I told someone that you could probably side a house with it. It's so thick, but that's okay. Thick is good. It could be used for a cover. But basically, I kept gluing paper, and then I took gesso and used the side of the brush in the gesso and just kind of scumbled it all over and let it dry. And then I think I took a tissue and dabbed on it. And so it's just basically an abstract background ready to go. And here's another one that I finished gluing the paper on. Then I stamped, and then I scumbled some gesso on that, the same way with this. So even though this is the back of another one, this spread here is done in a similar way with the gesso covering and kind of subduing everything. Kind of gives it a shabby chic look. And this one, these two happen to be together, but as you can see, they have the plain back, and so does this one. Has it just a plain back. And this one was glued with my favorite decoupage glue, which is about 2/3 school glue and about 1/3 of water. And then I just mix it all up. And there's no exact recipe, it's just whatever you like. And I like it because it flows beautifully. And one of the tricks to that is to, when you're getting your glue ready, let's say you have your brush and you just brush it all over and then come down and then maybe go back and forth. Because one of the secrets of not getting wrinkles is to have a very even coat of glue. And then what I do is, if I had a piece of paper to glue onto here, that would be down on the glue, and then I would press this. I like my bone folder for pressing down because it's always there and handy. And so hopefully that's a little tip for you. The reason I brought this is a print from this page. This is the original Masterboard here, and then this is the print from it. So and then I also put a different background on the back. I just ran it through the printer again and put some lined paper on it. So when I make the tags and stick them in pockets, then they're ready to journal on. So I kind of like that idea. This one has a different background on it. So that's kind of fun, but that way you can get the idea of the print and the original. And that's kind of what the Masterboard is about. So, and this is about a 65 weight paper, brilliant white, and it prints beautifully. I forget the company, but if you like, just message me and I will hopefully remember what company that was. I don't know if it was Epson or not, but anyway, it's nice. Here's another one. This one I glued a little differently. I kind of laid things down and held them like a little area, and then I tucked underneath with my art glitter glue. And that way I could control where they were a little bit, and I could move them around. So that was kind of fun, a little different way of gluing. And there's no finish on top of this one. And this one has the finish of the decoupage glue, this one I showed you here. This one does not. So there's no rules. You can just have fun and do what you want. I love this page. This was from a very old, maybe a 60s era garden magazine. I think I used it twice. I don't know where the other one went. Has the name of it, Garden, Home and Garden, or something like that. And then did a little bit of printing or stamping on top of that. So that's a fun one. I can't wait to use that one. And just another little different one with some cutout butterflies and a little different color scheme. And this is from the New Yorker. Cut out a few pages, words like dance, and should have found some more of those. Stuck it all over there. That would have been fun. And this one a little more planned this time, not quite as much reckless abandon. I did this one more like a glue book page, where it was all kind of a little bit organized in theme of garden and children, flower children. So that was a fun page. And then this, oh, here it is, Flower and Garden. That's the magazine right there. Can you see that? And so I have 2 pages with the Flower and Garden magazine. This was my very last page, and I had seen this, maybe this was Paper Outpost, I'm not sure, but there was a page with just strips, and this did not come out of my stash. I actually had to go into my scrapbook paper so that I would get a good 12-inch length of paper to use on here. But you just start putting strips down and then strips on top of strips, getting narrower and narrower. And I used the decoupage glue on this one. And then this one is just a conglomeration. There's a word you don't use every day. Conglomeration of various but bits and pieces that were actually in my stash. I used up a big pile of stash on this, and I think it's one of my very, very favorites. Now, I want to show you one little trick before we go. These edges right here can be a little bit iffy. They can start, since it's cheaply made, they can start tearing a little bit apart, and they need some reinforcement. So what I like to use is Scotch Magic Tape. You absolutely can't see it. I love this stuff. I use it all the time to reinforce, and it should last 50 years, hopefully. And I'll show you how I use that. Here's one I left undone. This is more like the cover. And I just kind of take a piece, and then I lay it down, kind of straddle the seam there, and if you stretch it a little bit as you're putting it down, you usually don't get wrinkles, and then you press it down with your fingernail, and even right now I cannot see that. It is gone. And so for printing, it's not a problem at all. So just a little idea for you. Every page I did here has that reinforcement in the center. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it encourages you to go out and find yourself a junk mail brochure and fill it up with fun stuff, and have a good time. Create with restless abandon, like Pam says. I just love that. It's such good advice. All right. You have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and God bless. Bye-bye.